My concern about that is that although we need to be inclusive and recognize the specific needs of different sectors of groups, it will also be difficult to go and focus on an identity per se, right? I think that identity politics, we need to be careful about that within the disability community and outside the disability community, because all of us, we have multiple identities, and one of the things that has been, I believe, difficult to handle is this politics of the separation.
When should people with disabilities feel like they have to overcome their disability, and when should they embrace their disability? Where is that balance?
We cannot deny it, and this is part of what the CRIP movement is claiming. Even if you transform all the systems and reduce all the barriers and make the world inclusive, that there is always a degree of a personal experience that you cannot deny it, right? And that could be limited because of pain, because of your own functionality, and that you cannot deny that. And I agree with that. I mean, you cannot deny that there might be moments in which you will have pain, frustration, in which it will be difficult to say, I am so proud and so happy and I embrace all this, because in some cases you can feel it like a misery. If you have lots of challenges, despite of having the support that you need, etc., it's complicated to say I'm really proud and happy, etc. And we have also to be able to accompany that and to understand that. While understanding that the situation might be difficult and that is undeniable, I think that we have to make sure that those challenges are not maximized by the lack of support and accessibility, right? Things might be extremely easier if there were no barriers. We need to think on how to address the needs of those that are going through the more difficult situations, and also how to make their processes easier. But it is true that in many cases, we will also have to support people to fight against the internalized oppression. So we also need to dismantle the oppression that comes with ableism. So at the end of the day, it's an individual experience. And two people in the same situation might have completely different reactions to the same situation.
It's an individualistic experience, and you have to take it by case-by-case basis. So thank you for that thoughtful answer. So our last question is, in no other minority group, this is my personal opinion, do you see such huge diversity within one minority group, right? Different race, different gender, sexual orientation. So such diversity between people in a single group. So some people, as we were saying, alluding to earlier, need more help in carrying out day-to-day activities. Others need more assistance when it comes to mental and psychosocial. So in your opinion, how does the multitude and variation of disability out there influence the trajectory of the disability rights movement?
We're very diverse. And my concern about that is that although we need to be inclusive and recognize the specific needs of different sectors of groups, it will also be difficult to go and focus on an identity per se, right? I think that identity politics, we need to be careful about that within the disability community and outside the disability community, because all of us, we have multiple identities. And one of the things that has been, I believe, difficult to handle is this politics of the separation, right? Because that has an impact on how we can work together and advocate together for a cause. And that is within the, as I said, within the disability community and outside the disability community. This is not a marathon to see who's more successful, if it's, fighting for women's rights or fighting for LGBTIQ or fighting for indigenous rights, or, and persons with disabilities are in all of those. And in those communities, there is also a lot of diversity, right? There's not such a thing as a homogeneous group of LGBTIQ or etc., right? It's only by having a joint effort, supporting all of us together, that we are going to succeed. And so for me, it is important to be extremely careful not to overlook the different challenges, but on the contrary, to be very sensitive to the most difficult situations that different groups face and make them part of the joint advocacy call, right? Only in that way we're going to be able to advance. And that means, and this is important for the disability movement worldwide, it means that we need to work together with other human rights groups.